Before kids, you planned your vacations around food and wine. Napa was your go-to wine tasting vacation for endless days of wine tasting and delicious meals. Luckily, things don't need to change much. Here's our top picks for wine tasting in Napa with kids. Napa is typically thought of as an adults-only destination. And while that may be the case at certain wineries, there are a select few that are still great destinations to taste with your little ones. Before we get started, there's a few things you need to know. First, Napa is almost entirely reservation-based at this point, and popular wineries get booked fast. So make sure you make your reservations well in advance of your trip. Second, Napa's a bit bigger than you might think. Well, it's not so large that you'd mind driving from one end to the other in a day. Doing so might become a little more difficult after a few tastings. To give you the lay of the land, Napa Valley runs from south to north. Its main road, the 29, allows you to basically get everywhere. Napa Valley is 30 miles long and 5 miles wide. It's comprised of 16 different regions, each with its own unique characteristics that influence the taste of the wine. These regions are known as the AVAs, and within them, there are over 400 different wineries throughout Napa Valley. Napa Valley has seen grapes being planted there since the mid-1800s. Prohibition briefly put a stop to that in the 1920s. But what really put Napa Valley on the map were the wines being produced there in the 70s that were highlighted in the Judgment of Paris in 1976. Since then, Napa has become the mecca for wine growing in the US. Okay, so 400 wineries. Which ones are the best to visit with your little ones? In this video, we've got our top 5 picks for wineries, tasting rooms, and restaurants to dine at while visiting Napa with your kids. Winery number 5, Hall Wines, Rutherford, California. Hall Wines is a must-stop to really experience the true flavor of Napa Valley. They have several different tasting options, but you'll want to choose the Appellation tasting. With this tasting, you'll be able to sample wines from 13 of the 16 different Napa AVAs. It's a great way to determine which regions pair with your taste preference. Hall Rutherford is known for its amazing architecture and art installations. Be sure to check out the chandelier room that showcases the upside-down lit tree made from over 1,500 Swarovski crystals. Winery number 4, Ashes and Diamonds, Napa, California. Ashes and Diamonds is located in southern Napa. It's fairly close to downtown and is one you want to plan on visiting while staying there. The winery is influenced by mid-century design, which is one of my personal favorite aesthetics. They focus on bringing back the original Napa wine style from the 60s. The grounds are perfect for your babes to run around while you taste some exceptional wines. Winery number 3, Darioush, Napa, California. Darioush has one of the most stunning and unique looking properties in Napa, with Persian-inspired architecture and beautiful gardens. We chose the signature mezza tasting, which included a variety of light snacks to pair along with the tasting. The tasting areas are also spread out and separated by shrubbery, so you don't need to feel cramped when you're bringing your children. Aria was able to run around and explore the gardens while we tasted, which was a great break for all of us. The Shiraz was our top pick, along with the Cabernet Franc. Winery number 2, Pride Mountain Vineyards, St. Helena, California. Coming in second and bordering Napa and Sonoma counties is Pride Mountain Vineyards. Pride Mountain is a bit of a drive up a windy mountain road, but is 100% worthwhile. I would recommend visiting Pride in the morning, as the windy road is best driven prior to a few tastings. Pride Mountain has an amazing Cabernet, as well as a selection of other varietals, including a phenomenal Syrah. We chose the Summit experience at Pride, which included a cave tour. The cave tour culminated in a private tasting with cheeses and meats located in a beautiful room in the cave full of plush leather couches and beautiful architecture. The cave tour is a great way to experience the winery with the kiddos. The kiddos get to run around, play in the caves, and also snack on a bunch of cheeses and meats. Winery number 1, Paradigm Winery, Oakville, California. Do yourself a favor and book this tasting right now. The serene setting at this Oakville vineyard is located just at the base of the Harlan Hill, which is known for new release wines that go for well over $500 a bottle. The vineyard's close proximity to Harlan speaks to its terroir and is where infamous winemaker Heidi Barrett harvests the grapes she uses to produce Paradigm's vintages. For those of you who aren't familiar, Heidi is responsible for some of Napa's most famous cold cabs. Paradigm's wine represents amazing value, and so does the tasting itself. Not only is Paradigm family friendly, but all of their tastings are also private, and frequently include pop-ins from the winery owners themselves, Ren and Marilyn Harris. The relaxed atmosphere was a great experience. Aria had the time of her life, running through the vineyard, tasting the unripe grapes, while we enjoyed the beautiful wines. The Cabernet Sauvignon was out of this world, and the Zinfandel, which was one of our favorites, is known to sell out quickly. Tasting fees were only $50 per person, which for good wineries in Napa is surprisingly cheap. The fee is also waived if you purchase over $100 in wine or join the wine club. Next up, we have our kid-friendly tasting rooms in downtown Napa. The best part about these tasting rooms is that you can walk from one to the next without worrying about driving, parking, or toting around the whole family. Coming in at number 5, Alpha Omega Collective, downtown Napa. The Alpha Omega Collective tasting room in downtown Napa is a great place to sample a variety of different grapes and producers. Downtown tasting room number 4, Amuse Bouche Winery. Amuse Bouche focuses on Pomerol-style wines with Merlot and Cabernet blends. If you want to taste wines from the Queen of Napa, this is your spot. Downtown tasting room number 3, Krupp Brothers. Krupp Brothers has an unassuming yet great tasting room in downtown Napa. If you love traditional Napa Cab, this is the spot for you. The wines are delicious, and the tastings include a variety of different grapes, from Chardonnay to Syrah and Cabernet. The M5 was outstanding. We actually purchased a few to cellar, so I'll let you know how those develop in a few years. The $60 tasting fee is waived with a $100 per person purchase of wine. But compared to all the other tastings we went to, the pours here are very generous. Also, be sure to ask them about the water witching while you're there. Downtown tasting room number 2, Mayacamas. Mayacamas is one of the few original wineries in Napa that started in the late 1800s. Mayacamas has both a tasting room in downtown Napa as well as a winery tour. With younger kids, we'd suggest the tasting room, as the winery tour includes ATVs and is not exactly kid-friendly. Mayacamas has followed the same winemaking processes for generations and has a more old-world profile than other Napa wineries. Their tasting room is located at the bottom of the Archer Hotel, and they were more than accommodating when Aria decided to sweep all of my red wine glasses off the table and onto the ground. That's what you get when wine tasting with a toddler. Downtown tasting room number 1, Vintner's Collective. Coming in at number 1 is the Vintner's Collective tasting room. Vintner's Collective is a bit different from other tasting rooms in that they carry more than just one brand. They carry a collection of top-notch, small, family-owned wineries from all over Napa Valley. This is a fantastic way to taste amazing wine from all over Napa in one place. The tasting room is located in an old building, a few blocks back from the main part of downtown, about a 5-minute walk. The staff are extremely friendly, extremely knowledgeable, and are more than accommodating to children. Finally, we'll give you our picks for restaurants to visit in Napa with your kids. Restaurant number 5, Zuzu, downtown Napa. This is a great spot for outdoor dining in downtown Napa. The cuisine is Spanish tapas. After a long day of tasting, this is a great spot to order a bunch of different small plates. The paella is amazing, but like all good paellas, remember that it does take a while, so order it right when you get there. The wine list is incredible and has a lot of reasonably priced bottles compared to a lot of the other Napa restaurants. The staff was also very kid-friendly and brought Aria a variety of snacks to try for free. This is the perfect spot to end the day. Restaurant number 4, Bouchon Bistro, Yountville, California. Have you really gone to Napa if you haven't tried one of Chef Thomas Keller's restaurants? If you don't know, Thomas Keller is the chef and creator of the 3 Michelin star restaurant, the French Laundry. While I would not recommend bringing kiddos to the French Laundry, you can definitely get away with bringing them to Bouchon. We aimed for a late lunch on the patio so that Arya had room to run around and she didn't disturb the other guest. Definitely order the steak frites and the creme brulee. You will not be disappointed. Restaurant number 3, Model Bakery, downtown Napa. Model Bakery is a must-try destination. We turned it into our morning routine while we were staying in downtown Napa. They have 2 locations, one in downtown at the Oxbrow Market and the other in St. Helena. Model Bakery has some of the best pastries in the world. The English muffins are literally to die for. They've even made Oprah's favorite things list. I would be lying if I said we didn't have a breakfast sandwich from Model Bakery every morning to get our day started. Restaurant number 2, Oxbrow Market, downtown Napa. Oxbrow Market is one of my favorite places in Napa. There are several different restaurants and shops inside the market, which include a God's Roadside. If you have picky eaters, the options are endless and everyone is going to find a meal that they are ecstatic about. The market is also casual, which is a nice change of pace from the general vibe of Napa. Perfect for a chill evening after a long day of tasting. Restaurant number 1, the Charter Oak, St. Helena. Coming in first is the Charter Oak in St. Helena. The Charter Oak is a local staple and was one of our favorite restaurants in Napa Valley. The crudité was so good, I literally still dream about it. They grow all of their vegetables in their own garden, and the restaurant has a focus on seasonal food. The wine list is extensive, with a range of approachable wines to Napa cult favorites. When sitting in the courtyard, there is plenty of breathing room between tables for your family to stretch their legs and chase any stragglers before they cause too much trouble. We also have a few other tips. Schedule lunches and dinners earlier. It's a more relaxed family vibe earlier at restaurants than going later when it's a little bit more of an intimate setting. Book your reservations way ahead of time at the wineries and restaurants that you want to go to, and also let them know that you're bringing a toddler. Our last tip is to make sure you make a list or a calendar that includes all of the links to your reservations. There are so many different reservation websites right now, and this will make it a lot easier to be organized and not lose anything. One of our other tips for wine tasting with toddlers is to only schedule 1 to 2 tastings a day. The wine does add up, and anything over 2 tastings, you might want to find a babysitter. Be sure to schedule ample time between your wineries and meals. It'll be more relaxed, and you can squeeze in visits to parks, get some energy out, and also fit in some shopping. Alright, so those were our top 5 picks for Napa Valley with kiddos. We're going to place links below for all of the places that we mentioned in this video. If you have any places that you go to with your toddlers in Napa, make sure to put it in the comments. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.